Hmm. Yes, indeed. It's yours truly. Tapping in on the After Dark Late Night Edition. And if you're already bobbing your head, then that means you have already stepped into Amp's matrix for tonight. And that vibe is purposeful because that vibe that you hear pairs well with tonight's episode. There it is. See, as I'm hearing the Jones family talk about this team, and I'm hearing the coaching staff talk about this team, and I'm hearing the fans talk about this team, there is one glaring light, and that is we do not currently have a ride equipped enough to take a trip through the playoffs into the NFL championship. And so when I think about those things, it puts me in the mindset of a show I used to like to watch known as Pimp My Ride. And people would entrust their ride in the hands of Exhibit and the crew of the West Coast Customs in hopes that they would transform their hoopty into a fly ride. So we gonna freeze it right there. Y'all go ahead and sit tight while your boy Amp gets right, because at the end of the day, we gonna be all right. Yeah! Hey, yo, DJ, drop that beat for me, dog.
Twizzy is my producer, beats all the time.
Let's go.
Here to let you know we been hustling 24/7, 365, get that dope. Don't know when I'm gon' stop, cause that paper feels so good. Turning and gripping grain, leather seats with the wood. And she loves to roll with me, she hold it down.
Shotgun.
Windows tinted, so you know she blow me.
Shotgun.
I'm riding in the whip to the money.
Drop y'all.
They come back in for the money.
Hey. Miss Regina, I see you. Angie, I see you. Y'all come on in.
I can see it now. Twins winning a Grammy. Them haters gon' be mad.
And no, they can't stand me. I'm just repping for my team.
Check the stats, pimpin'.
We playing for that ring, no flexing. They love it. They love it. They love it. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, you have now stepped inside of yet another What We Doing edition with yours truly, Mr. Always Making Plays. That's right. It's What We Doing Wednesday.
What we doing? Okay. What we doing? What we doing? What we doing?
And what we are doing is we trying to fix things in Big D. We are trying to fix our squad. And so, Keystone, what's good with your brother? Good to see you, man. And so, if you are probably feeling like I'm feeling, especially after watching Philadelphia just win the Super Bowl, just a little bit salty. Just a little bit salty. Let me turn that down some. And so, you know, I've been talking to a lot of Cowboys fans, a lot of content creators, and we're just trying to put our heads together to figure this thing out because, you know, at the end of the day, as complex as it may seem, it's not rocket science. And you are seeing teams who make the pushes and the strides and the efforts that people like myself, people like yourself, have pushed and echoed. And for whatever reason, that echo comes back the same way it left. And so you sitting here wondering, like, what in the hell can we do to make this squad better? Now, we appreciate everything Mike McCarthy did while he was here. You know, the level of play of how we elevated. But we got to take another step, man. It's just that simple. We have to take another step. You know, I'm hearing these interviews and I'm hearing what guys are talking about. I'm hearing this common theme of physicality, guys who love the game. We're hearing all of that. And it's cute. It sounds good. But what everybody wants to know, what inquiring minds want to know is, how do we fix this team? And then when you add into the equation the fact that we've got, 25 gentlemen with question marks by their names? You got 25 individuals whose name is currently still on their locker. That don't mean it's going to stay on their locker. And then as we're preparing to fully entrench ourselves in the midst of draft season and those 300 plus young men who are up in Indianapolis are preparing to show their talents to the world, your co-owner, CEO, VP, whatever all them damn titles he got, Cap Boy, is at the combine and he finds himself in the midst of a roughly 22-minute interview. And they asked him quite a few things and he gave typical Steven answers, right? But there's one particular section, because I'm going to tell y'all, I'm going to give y'all the quick backstory. I was at work when I listened to the interview for the first time. And so I'm doing my stuff. I'm at my computer, and I'm listening to it in the background, and I'm focusing on my work, but I'm pulling pieces and words here and there. And y'all, I swear to you, I was listening, and it came to a point to where, I kind of tuned them out a little bit. And then I heard a phrase, and I think y'all heard the same phrase, and a lot of other people I've seen have heard that phrase. And Stephen Jones said, you know what? I'm going to just let Stephen tell it for y'all. Let me pull it up here.
What do you say to them? What do you say to the fans, though, that specifically this offseason want to see you guys be more aggressive?
That we're going to look at everything we can. We're going to be selectively aggressive. We obviously, there's things in this league you have to, you have certain.
What? Did he say what I just think he said? He put those two words together. He really did that. Stephen Jones put selectively and aggressive together. Like next to, like adjacent. Stephen did that. Boy, it never fails to cease to amaze me at the mess that comes out of their mouths during this time of year. It's almost as if they said, it's almost as if they're trying to top All In. I didn't think anything could get close to All In and the shenanigans that came behind it, or the lack thereof. But it seems like, to me, they're trying to top All In with a new hot catchphrase. This will be the catchphrase, I promise. Selectively aggressive will be the All In of 2025. Mark my words, y'all. This is crap. I got to back this up. We got to hear it again.
What do you say to them? What do you say to the fans, though, that specifically this offseason want to see you guys be more aggressive?
That we're going to look at everything we can. We're going to be selectively aggressive.
What? I promise you, y'all, you cannot make this stuff up. This is just rich. If I was one of the Dallas media, I'm gonna tell y'all, Amp's ass would have been got fired, because as I'm sitting there holding the phone, right, and I'm listening, and he'd have said that, boy, I'd have laughed so damn hard, they'd have fired my ass on the spot. Man. Boy. Okay, I'm gonna give y'all a related story, right? I'm gonna take y'all back. See, it's after hours now, so I could talk. The kids sleep, the wife sleep. I'm gonna tell y'all a little story about Amp back in the day, right? I'm gonna turn the music down, so I don't have to talk too loud, right? Because, sometimes she peek her head out the door and I don't want her to be listening. Okay. So back in the day, I had this friend of mine, right? We were good friends. And so maybe even loosely use the term besties, right? But there was an understood attraction between the two of us, right? And so this one particular summer, she visited me, etc., all that good stuff or whatever. And we had gone out a couple of times and had fun as friends. And then somewhere along, that's right, Angie. See, you got the right picture. This is Amp After Dark. Shh, don't tell nobody. So, matter of fact, actually, yes. Do tell somebody. Share this to all your Cowboys, homies, and friends. They can find me on all social media platforms at AMPD Sports. Appreciate you, Angie. So, yeah, so we kind of flirted it around with this idea, and, you know, it felt natural. It felt real. It felt good. And so then there was this awkward moment where the infamous question is asked. So what are we? That's what she asked me, right? And so in my infinite wisdom, I said, you know, I don't know if we, you know, are boyfriend and girlfriend or an item dating, etc. And y'all, what I said, and again, you hear the music in the background, it's player for a reason, okay? Follow me, go with me, right? And it just flowed off my mouth. It was beautiful. I didn't even realize the power and the dynamics of what I said when I said it, but I said, we're casually exclusive. I said, we are casually exclusive. And when I said it, it kind of shook her, but she was like, you know what? Man, this is dope, man. Y'all coming in a major way. I got Big Time in here. I got Keystone in here. Boss Cowboy done stuck in the back door. Appreciate you, my guy. Salute, man. So, yeah, I told her, I said, we're casually exclusive. And she looked at me kind of like puzzled and upset for a second. And she said, you know what? I like it. And so that's what we were. And that was kind of the ongoing joke. It never went past that point. We never got really serious, but we always laughed at the dynamics of how we put those two words together. And I'm like, well, we're casual because, you know, we kind of long distance, and, you know, on top of that, like, I ain't checking impressing you, you ain't checking impressing me. So, but when we get together, we know what it is. And so my dog said he's still that. And so even to this day, it was crazy is out of the blue, randomly, again, this is Amp After Dark. Shh, y'all don't tell nobody. But just randomly 2 days ago, as I was pondering the message for this show, she said, she messaged me out the blue and asked me how I did. I hit delete so quick. I said, boy, thank God for being saved. I am a saved, happy, married man. I'm not, I left that back there. So, yeah, so I put these two words that don't seem to go together. And I told y'all that story for a reason. Steven said selectively aggressive. To me, that's almost like one of the definitions, and in case y'all don't know, and me and that friend were bio majors together. Took a lot of classes together. That's how we kind of got close to one another. But when you talk about the definition of osmosis, you're talking about diffusion of water through a selectively permeable membrane. Selectively impermeable. It selects what it wants and it allows it to go through it. Almost kind of like selectively aggressive. And so when you look at aggressive, you're talking about, you know, going for it, pushing, pressing, hunting, seeking, that type deal, right? But when you say selective, you're talking in the mindset of being somewhat choosy, if you will. You've got a preference of some sort. So how can you have a preference if you're being aggressive? And so if you read between the lines, Stephen Jones is indeed telling you we have a type. Yes, sir. Boss, we gonna get to that screwed in a minute. I'ma fill you in. We gonna keep it pimping. So he said all that, and I think in so many words, they know what they want. They know the type they want. And the type that we're thinking about, the Myles Garretts of the world, they aren't going to be the ones who they pursue. No, you know how Steven does. Steven likes to shop at Publix on Wednesdays when the BOGO ad comes out. He likes to buy one, get one. You know what I'm saying? He likes a good deal. Steven reminds me of how my grandma used to be back in the day, right? When she would go through and she's reading the newspaper and she takes this ad out and takes that ad out and takes that ad out. And then a couple of weekends I stayed with her, and on Saturdays she would do her grocery shopping. Bruh, I'm thinking we're going to the grocery store. We're going to buy some groceries and we're going to come on back. We went from grocery store to grocery store to grocery store to convenience store, to corner store, back to grocery store. Why go where whoever got the sale? That's what she used to say. Matter of fact, this is also the same grandmother who is also partially responsible for me being a Cowboys fan, by the way. She was a big one. Every Sunday after church, dinner would already be cooked. She did that bad boy on Saturday night, because on Sunday she didn't want nothing or nobody stopping her from watching her boys. But yeah, so we would go to all those different places and get the ads, and she would get the sale items here, sale items there. And that's what Steven is. He likes to take advantage of a good sale. So in his mind right now, he's not thinking about Myles Garrett, you know. He's thinking about some of those lower tiered individuals so he can, as my grandmother would say, stretch his dollar. That's the type of guy he is. But when you talking about putting one of those on your finger, one of those big boys that Philly's going to do at the beginning of next season, when you talk about doing that, sometimes you got to make big boy moves. Sometimes you got to go and grab that dog from San Francisco. You got to get you what's his name? Ken from San Francisco. Sometimes you got to go get the dog. Norton. That's right, Norton. Steven too good for self-checkout. Exactly. No, I want mine bagged and paper. No, I don't want the plastic in paper. So now that the selectively aggressive is out the way, now we can get to the actual meat of this. And that is, I told y'all in the intro, I said, put yourself in the mindset of somewhere around circa 2003, 4, 5, somewhere up in there, right? And you just sat down to watch an episode of Pimp My Ride. And I used to love it. I used to sit down, eat my little snacks, all that, and sit down. And then after they had so many episodes, I would binge watch this. And so the beautiful part about it is they would bring in the most beat up, run down, raggedy cars, still operable in some instances, because sometimes they had to tow them back. A couple of episodes, they had to tow the damn car in there. But the beautiful part about it, they would drive it into the garage area and exhibit, and the crew at West Coast Customs, they would all come out the back and they would be like, whoa, damn, you know, like, man, that ride is busted. And so here we go. That's more like it. So they're looking at this ride and they're like, man, you drove this? Like, how? You know, and it would be like the inside of the door was, the panel was gone, and the headliner would be, you know, drooping down with, you know, crayon, a note or something on it, a signature wall, whatever. It would be crazy stuff. Headlights missing, tail lights missing. Auntie Sadiqa, what's good? Good to see you. And so, you know, it would be so many things wrong with this car. And then, you know, they go to commercial break, they come back, and now Exhibit and the crew are sitting in their office. They got the paper out, they got the pen, and they're like, okay, how are we going to pimp this ride? And so what they do in their kind of MO was they would pimp the ride, but the things and the features that they would put on the vehicle were oftentimes things that the car owner was interested in, or hobbies, or you name it, something that they really liked that was special to them, had some meaning to it. And so, you know, after they get all those ideas, you know, based on the part of the car that they were doing, you know, all that good stuff, they would divvy up the work. And so you would see them go into the garage, and they start to take this car apart. They take a sledgehammer to it, even almost like the DIY channels for, you know, what's that? The Home and Garden channel when they do home renovations. HGTV. They tearing it up, break, and you like, yeah, because none of that stuff is salvageable. And so that's the point where we find ourselves with this current organization. We find ourselves looking at what we need to strip off of this team. What do we need to remove from it? Well, naturally, some things have already, like headlights often do, like side view mirrors often do. Some things have just naturally fallen off. And so you look at the fact that we have 25 free agents, you know, a very nice list. And we've got some guys that we got to sort out and figure out. Now, one of those individuals has already made the decision for, actually two of those individuals, and that is the first ballot Hall of Famer, Zach Martin, announcing his retirement a couple days ago. And so then you had Trey Lance, who had pretty much said, thank you, but no thank you. I've seen all I need to see here. I'm going to take my talent somewhere else, right? And so we still got to sort through these guys. You know, they asked him in a press conference about D-Law. They respect him. They appreciate the work that he's put in, et cetera, whatever. But they got to sit down with him and his representation. They got to talk dollars and cents. And so you're looking at these individuals, people like Jordan Lewis, people like Marquise Bell, Wanye Thomas. You got to figure out what to do with these. And if y'all were tuned in tonight to Boss Cowboy, they might also need to figure out what they need to do in the tight end room. And I appreciate the episode. I appreciate you, Boss, for putting me in that mindset, because, you know, as much as people and individuals poo-poo on the running back position and say how expendable it is, and how some of those same people who just a few short years ago were poo-pooing on it have miraculously, Michael Jackson style, moonwalk their way back to appreciating the position. But the same can be said for the tight end position as well. And so it makes you wonder, because, you know, we know the money be funny, okay? We know that we're not going to be able to do it all through the draft. We know we're not going to be able to do it all through free agency. It's going to have to be a nice blend. And so when Amp is talking about pimping the squad, the first part we got to do is we got to prepare, ladies and gentlemen. Amp, prepare, I mean, that's kind of vague. Yes, prepare. And I mean prepare in all aspects, all facets, all angles. Prepare. We've already started the process of hiring the coaching squad. It probably wasn't all of ours idea of how we saw it going, from the coaching search to the individuals we hired, the process in which we hired them, how we hired in some instances the assistant before we hired the actual position coach. We hired the wide receiver assistant coach before we hired the wide receiver position coach. It made me scratch my head, just as far as the process. But nonetheless, we have what we have. It is promising. You do have, I can see how Shoddy and the management is trying to do this thing. And on the surface, it's hopeful, it's optimistic, because some of the things that we had issues with, some of the areas that we had concerns with that we felt needed a little more TLC, like the running game on the offensive side, like stopping the run on the defense, like the route concepts of the offense, the blocking scheme of the offensive line, the construction of the offensive line. So you've hired guys whose specialties are in the areas of need. And so I appreciate them on that, and the things that they've said is good, but it's all lip service until proven and seen on the field. So I want to see the Cowboys prepare. And obviously right now we're getting ready and are in the middle of the NFL Combine. And so me personally, I'm going to be putting those numbers together. I already have a spreadsheet already ready for it. I just need to input those numbers as they come. And I need to do the results from the HBCU Combine, which was this past weekend. And so we can really get a look at these guys and kind of match the numbers with the film. I can't wait to be off Monday so I can just have a whole day, as Boss Cowboys said, to just get lost in it, really start to learn these guys a lot more. But I want to see us preparing in the sense of, okay, so we know in a couple of weeks free agency is coming. Well, why not prepare now? Why not go ahead and already have Dak and CD restructure? Why not go ahead and do that now? You can actually do that now. Matter of fact, you can actually sign your own players now. I actually retweeted it earlier because I forgot who it was. I think somebody from the Bills, one of their receivers, just got extended. I think it was like 3 or 4 years, $85 million. So yes, you can start to do those things now. See, that's called preparation, because if you watched myself, Stargazer, and Boss Cowboy on last week, we were talking about no excuses. And if you've been a Dallas Cowboy fan for some time now, you know that the Jones family has a certain way that they do business on a year in and year out basis. And the things that they say, we already know what they're going to say. When they asked Stephen Jones about player acquisition is a 365-day-a-year job, we know, goddamn. Sounding like a broken record, bruh. So, again, we know last year the excuse was we just don't have the funds, right? So we've seen this thing play out before to know that you can manipulate and adjust and restructure contracts to where you can free yourself up some more money. And so knowing that and knowing that we've got two big chunks, because we can go and Google search and look on the internet too. Shout out to Spot Track. Yes, it's Spot Track. I actually found them on YouTube, my fellow content creators. It is Spot Track. Because I know some people were saying Spot Track, Spot Rack. I actually heard them say their own name, and it's Spot Track. So, we were talking about no excuses. And so to prevent them from saying that for the purposes of Osa or Micah or Duran, hey, let's go ahead and do those restructures now. And you know what's funny? And I'm going to still make a video of this, but y'all are here with AMP After Dark. So I'm going to go ahead and give y'all a preview. If you watched that show on Boss Cowboy Sports last Monday night, Boss said, I'm going to throw you a blank check, Amp. How you feeling about things? And I said, you know, being a Cowboys fan, you run into Cowboys fans, and they always tell you, I've been a Cowboy fan since. That's how they always it's, hello, my name is, and I've been a fan since. And I said, well, for all these fans since, you know what the Jones family has been doing. So let's go ahead and meet them before they meet us, nip things in the bud, cut out the excuses. And if you listen to that press conference later on, what did Stephen Jones say? I'm not making any excuses or anything. And I said, oh, Stephen Jones, we on to you, sir. You ain't as slick as you think you are, pimp. You might have thought you could sell rice to a Chinaman twice. Nah, bro, I'm way nice. And I peep game. Like y'all peep game. We've been hearing the same thing for so long. So yes, we want you to prepare. Go ahead and get those restructures out the way. Go ahead and move that money however you need to free some things up. Because as you heard, Philly is interested in old Mr. Garrett. And guess what? They ain't just going to keep looking over at her thinking that her phone number is going to miraculously pop in your phone. No, you got to go talk to her. But you know what Philly going to do? Oh, Philly going to step. How we going to step? While you trying to figure out how to approach her, Philly already got the number. Philly already going out with her for drinks next Tuesday for Taco Tuesday. While you trying to figure out how to approach her, let me see, how should I walk? Kind of want to come in at an angle. No, Philly already got a date set up. And they're going to do whatever they got to take to GTD. And if you don't know what GTD is, I'm going to tell you because, again, it's Amp After Hours. GTD is got the draws. Philly will do whatever it takes to get the draws. While you wondering if she is a virgin, Philly already got them draws. With your selectively aggressive ass. While you're selectively aggressively looking at her, Philly got them draws. I digress. So yes, you need to do everything to prepare for the draft, for free agency. You need to start preparing for your OTAs. Shotty needs to already have in his head what that schedule is going to look like. What things are you going to target and work on during those periods? Yes, you got to start preparing all of that now. And then after you get past the preparation portion, that takes you to the second letter in Pimp, and that's I. And you need to be able to implement those things. And to be able to implement those things, Jerry Jones, you might have to back your ass up. Stephen Jones, you might have to back your ass up too. Pause. When you look at the other organizations and you hear the management of the Washington football team talking and they say we put the guys in position who we were confident in and we got out the way. You got to implement these things. Implement the type of culture you want. Implement the mission you have for this team. Implement the vision you have for this team. Implement the attitude. Implement the swag. That's what I want to see you do. Start implementing. You're talking about it. It sounds good. But I want you to start implementing these things. Stephen Jones, you said when they asked you about Philly and the Rams and those other teams, you know, referencing how they've been aggressive and not selectively aggressive, and you say we're gonna look at it. See, that's that stuff that sound like what my mama used to tell me back in the day. And if you had a hip mom like I did, when you asked her a question, hey, mama, can we go to Chuck E. Cheese? Would she tell you? I see. I think about it. I look at it. That's a good one, Angie. Take the selective out of the aggressive. Woo! Oh, word. I need some church organs. Big time. Let me borrow some of your organs, bro. So you want to see these things implemented, right? And then once you implement them, the very next thing you need to do is you need to manage what you've implemented. That means managing each position group, each room, managing each player. I heard Shotty say, we're here for the players. We're here to make them successful. Manage them. That's a part of the whole draft and develop. Manage them. Move them. Motivate them. Manage the playbook. You know, this is kind of a lot of everybody's first time doing this thing together like this, right? So it's going to be a learning curve. So you got to make some adjustments as you go on, right? You got to manage that. Hey, what is working? What's not working? Okay, maybe we need to do a little. Okay, maybe we need to go heavier with the 12 personnel then. Change up your percentages for how you call your offense. All that has to be managed. Okay, then you got some players who you thought were going to be good. They ain't playing good. Manage them and move them to the sideline. Too many times we've had guys on the field who did not belong there, who looked like they did not have a clue. We got some studs, but we got some unstuds. We got some dogs and we got some undogs. So this has to be managed. If your third string player, when he gets the opportunities, is outshining and outperforming the handpicked day one starter, manage him and move him to the sideline. And then that brings me to my final P. Promote. Promote the individuals who have shown that they are worthy of that merit. Promote the ideas within the building that make sense. Promote members on your staff who have shown that they are worthy of such. Why is Lunda Wells still just a tight end position coach? I didn't even know I was going to say that. Promote what works. Shotty said, you know, we're going to look at a lot of what we did last year. We ain't going to change everything up. We're going to take from that and purge from that what was good. In essence, separating the wheat from the chaff. That's a part of the harvest. Everything is not salvageable. Everyone is not salvageable. Promote. And that also needs to be a part of the process of your figuring out your free agents. And if y'all come and tune in later on this week, I'm going to be talking about all of our free agents and what we should do with each one of those individuals. But if you've been paying attention, if you prepare, you implement, you manage, and you promote, ladies and gentlemen, that's the true definition of pimping. That's how you pimp properly. Enough of this shadiness, enough of this creepiness, weirdness, enough of this parking lot pimping. I'm talking about real pimping. Putting it all together. Putting your feelings aside and going with the best ideas. That's how you become a cool, slick pimp. Again, we want to promote. We want to implement. We want to manage. We want to prepare. We want to implement, manage, and promote. Ladies and gentlemen, that is how you get to good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good becomes your better and your better becomes your best. Until next time, Cowboys Nation, y'all be blessed. You have now tuned in to AMP After Dark.
In 30 fucking years.